On this episode of the Mompreneur Show, I'm talking with Andrea Thomas, a wife, a mom of 4 littles, and an owner of Scratch Me Not, a clothing brand for babies. And you will hear more about Andrea and what her brand stands for. So on the show today, we'll talk about how to start and scale a handmade clothing business with Andrea Thomas. So I'm really, really excited about that. But before we get into the show, I would like to thank our 2 wonderful companies for making this show possible. One of them is Made On. It's an all-natural brand of skincare. They have chapstick, hard lotion, which is a lotion bar, but it's in a hard form, so you just rub it on your hands, which is my favorite, especially after we did all that moving. It really, really helped my hands gain back the moisture. And another amazing company is Audible. It's an incredible company that hosts hundreds of thousands of books that you can get and listen on the car, on the go, or while washing dishes like I do. Get a free book. Literally, you can get a free full book by signing up at audible.com/Vicky. And the links are also in the post right above. So thank you again so much for joining us. Now let's get into the show. Hey, Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
Absolutely. It's so good to have you. I've been really looking forward to it forever, and I'm so happy that you took the time out of your busy life and came to join us.
Yes, no problem. Thank you. I enjoy watching your show, and I really enjoy you taking the time to chat with me. So I'm excited to get started.
Absolutely, Andrea. And from all that, I have a lot of interaction with our guests on the show, and all of them are great. But you have been so sweet, and it was just so nice to interact with you and chat with you. And you're I really enjoy bringing up amazing people onto the show. So I'm really, really happy that you're here. I want to give a shout out to Maya Johnson for being here. Maya, thank you so much for taking the time and being here. Thank you so much, Nina and Lucy. And oh my gosh, there's so many of you I can't even count. Lily, welcome, honey. It's so good to see you. Today we're going to be talking all about turning your handmade business and making it into actual business that brings a lot of money into your family, because I know that I have so many friends that have handmade businesses that make cute little stuff for babies that sell on Etsy. But sometimes it's like, coffee money, maybe some play money. But really, today's show is going to be all about taking your business and really scaling it. So it will not only change your business, it will change your life and your family's life. So Andrea, can you tell us how you got started with, just tell us your story. Your story is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, so I think it really started from a challenge. Some will call it a problem, but a challenge for me.
Yeah.
And I had just had my first daughter, and she was a newborn, and you get all those warm, gushy feelings, and you're in love with this new baby that you've brought into this world. And I noticed that she was constantly rubbing and scratching at 2 months. And I thought, okay, she's really young to be actively rubbing and trying to get an itch. And I noticed her skin was getting red, and she was having it seemed like a rash, but it was growing. Like it was joints, and then it was head, and it was just getting to the point to where it wasn't normal baby scratching. So I looked for mittens that would stay on. I looked for products. I looked for creams. I talked to doctors, and the doctors were like, oh, it's just baby skin. She'll grow out of it. But she didn't. And it just kept getting worse. And I'm a natural problem solver. I'm a doer. So when I didn't find a solution, I said, okay, I'll make one.
Yeah.
So I, through just knowing people that are seamstresses, and just created a prototype. And it was mostly for her. But as I was going through this process, I realized maybe I'm not the only one that's having this problem. And this is more severe than typical baby scratching. And the little mittens were just flying off, and socks were coming off or giving a rug burn. So that's how the Scratch Me Not began.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I love that it began from a problem. I mean, maybe not the most glamorous problem that you had, but really, I feel like businesses who truly succeed, they find a problem. They find something that can be fixed, something that can be made better. And I love that you shared that with us. So, all those mamas watching us, if you're constantly frustrated with something, either the baby gear or something with what your baby is doing that can be prevented, or whatever it is, like Andrea found a solution to her baby scratches. So, Andrea, go a little bit deeper. So you had this idea. You made a mitten for your baby girl. What happened next? How did you take this to the sample and take it to the next level, maybe to manufacturing? How did that happen?
Well, first, I wanted to make sure that I had something tangible to show. So I drew up a few things and to kind of figure out how I wanted it to work on her, whether it was mittens or for us, it's a flip mitten sleeve. And then some of the milestones that I knew I wanted her to reach as just a baby in general was to use her tactile fine motor skills. But she was scratching almost nonstop, so I couldn't have her hands free per se. So I'm taking a lot of these different components and trying to figure out a true idea that would not only work, but stay on long enough to work. So when I hand sewed, and I'm a terrible seamstress, but I hand sewed the first pair of mittens, and I put satin on them to make sure that it wouldn't give her a rug burn. And I took that to a friend that was a seamstress, and I said, okay, I want to make a prototype. Here's how I want it to look. Here are the materials that I want. And I want to make this to where it can be mass produced. Like I really wanted to make sure this wasn't a one of a kind. It's had so many extra steps that it was hard for someone else to replicate.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure that it was easy enough to work. It still has its complicated moments, of course, but making sure that it had proper steps. And then from there, it was a matter of me finding a local manufacturer to begin to create the product for, I guess, mass production and sale.
So how do you even begin to find a manufacturer for mass production? Where did you start?
Oh my. Flashing back all those years ago, I had no idea. And that's the beauty of this journey, is just the adventure. So with baby in tow, we just kind of looked online to find a manufacturer. That didn't work out. I had to do a lot of networking, talking to people, asking different seamstresses, do you know of a local manufacturer? And I started off local on purpose because I wanted to be more hands-on. I wanted to see the steps, and this had kind of become my second child. So I didn't want to push it out too fast and not know the process myself.
Exactly.
As I mentioned, I'm kind of becoming a student of my own new craft. So I want to learn as I'm creating also.
Exactly.
And so I ended up finding a referral to a local manufacturer just by networking and talking to different people all around the area.
Mm. Very cool. And I feel like, networking is so invaluable. Like, so often we put that, like, I love networking, but oftentimes I'm like, okay, I'm too busy for that right now,
Mm-hmm.
But it's so valuable in every single area of business. And
yes.
Was there any specific groups that you went to?
I did a lot of research online. And then when that didn't pan out, I just began to figure out the steps. So I'm going to need a cutter. I'm going to need a pattern maker. I'm going to need, and through my research, I realized the different pieces of the puzzle.
Wow.
So now that I knew the pieces of the puzzle, I could now Google differently. I can now search differently. So I ended up finding my manufacturer through my pattern maker.
Wow.
And so I went there and said, here's my idea. I need formalized patterns. And by the way, do you know someone who is local, who will work with me to create a good amount of product to sell.
Very interesting. So you were able to source everyone locally. And where are you local to right now?
Right now, I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Wow. Okay. So, but I'm sure that in any big city, there's resources like that as well.
Yes, there's a lot of resources and there's a lot of associations that you
Okay.
can get plugged into, whether it is the textile industry or different mom groups that are seamstresses. You can tap in that way. There's so many different angles to get your product mass produced. It doesn't have to be the formal factory style. You can be as creative as you want to be.
Very, very interesting. And I have to put a plug in for our previous guest, Christina from Billy Bibs. Like, I know I always do this, but she makes cute baby bibs. And instead of going to manufacturer, which I think she might actually, but instead of going there from the beginning, she just hired a whole bunch of moms to do the sewing. So I really, really love that. And so there's different ways that you can go about it. You can start yourself. If it gets too much, you can outsource that. I'm so curious why you didn't start doing all the patterns and the sewing yourself.
Well, for me, I don't have a background in sewing and cutting, and my background is in architecture. So the design aspect came very easily, very fluidly. But then I hit a portion where I didn't really know how to sew it all properly and how to make the patterns. Let me clarify.
Yeah.
I can make it, but when it's time to mass produce it, can someone take my patterns, my designs, my sew work and make a true official commercialized product?
Wow.
And that's what I didn't feel comfortable doing. So I went the factory route because I felt more comfort there, and I feel like I could grow and understand and learn on the go. And since I wanted to get this done efficiently, because I'm also on a time frame, I know that if my child is suffering with scratching nonstop, causing scarring, and so on, someone else's child is going through it at that moment. So I could have taken some sewing classes. I could have slowed down and gotten more education and moved forward. But I kept thinking about all those parents and all those children that needed the product. So I wanted to find the most efficient way to get there.
That's amazing. That is such a beautiful way to look at it. Oh my gosh. It's like really like, when do you want, how fast, how quickly do you want this out? Or do you want to take it slow and steady? And it's interesting because different ways work for different parents. And I love that you acknowledged that and said, this is what worked for me. Like, I wanted this out into the market right away. And another point that I want to point out is that I love that you said, if someone's baby is scratching, if my baby, if my baby is scratching, it's very likely that there's someone else's child that's scratching their eczema or what you're trying to heal so much. And so it's, anyway, let me get my thoughts together. If one person is struggling, if you're struggling with something, like whatever it might be, whatever that you're struggling with, it's a 100% guarantee that someone else in the world is also struggling. And not just someone, but there's hundreds and thousands of people who are struggling with what you're struggling with. But maybe not everyone is being vocal about it. People are not typing about it in the forums. Sometimes it's very personal. And so I love that you shared that with us, Andrea. So this is an inspiration to all of you moms. I know that so many of our moms in our community want to start their own business, but they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm trying to figure out what to start. And if you are like eyeing at Handmade, that's great. But if you have like something that you're struggling with that you created in order to help yourself, goodness gracious, create it for everyone else as well. Share that information. Anyway, okay, I'm off. I'm done with my
No, I appreciate that because that's the passion that I felt when I first started. Because one of the emotional things that parents go through is you see your child suffering and you see the scars that they're creating, and you also see the stares from strangers and the questions being asked, and you want to address that as soon as possible. So I think I carried that torch for choose because I know about the emotional parental guilt and the mommy guilt and just wanting to fix it already.
Exactly. And I thank you so much, Andrea, for sharing that. You are truly, truly passionate about what you're doing. And I love that when, and to give a backstory, a lot of the guests, actually all the guests that come on the show have to fill out a form. Either they're requesting to be a guest or before they come on the show, they still have to fill out a form if I reach out to them. So, either way, they fill out this form and it talks about things that like, what do you want to talk about that you're really passionate about? Because that's my goal, is not only to bring you incredible mom entrepreneurs with amazing stories, with amazing, remarkable businesses, but also I want them to talk about what they're passionate about, not what I see and what they're good at. You know what I mean? And so, Andrea, your passion was like all over that form, and I really, really enjoyed reading it. And now I want to go into that direction about talking about how you were able to build this incredible business with babies, literally one after another, all around you. Like, how were you able to grow such a beautiful, thriving family as well as a business simultaneously?
I think whenever people ask me, how do you have a business and 4 kids? Or, they're having their first child and like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, luckily, your babies don't come out as toddlers. Like, they come out as infants and newborns, and you just take it step by step.
Exactly.
And you figure out some pieces, you learn as much as you can. But most importantly, I think for me is prioritizing. Yeah. I'm a wife first, then I'm a mom, and then I'm a businesswoman. Yeah. And I want to make sure that as I'm mapping out my day, that I keep those things in priority. And sometimes, I love business and I love working. So that can kind of overshadow things at times. And I have to stick to my plan, block out my time. And then too, like, I don't have a true 8 to 5 day. So with that, it's very important for me to mentally kind of block out periods of the day for the week that I can work, and then what I can do during that time frame. Periods of the day where I'm mom only. Periods of the day where I'm focused on, laundry that can pile up with multiple kids. So as long as I keep my priorities in check, and I stick to the plan, things go smoothly. But it's when I decide to not map out my day or just kind of play it by ear, that's when things go awry.
I completely and wholeheartedly agree with you, Andrea, about that. It's like really prioritizing your priorities in your days as well. But I'm so curious, like, what does your typical day look like?
Well, I have 2 types of days. So I have a day where I have 4 children. So there's a day where there's 3 of them are at school or childcare and 1 is always at home. And so that time I get the most of my work done during those windows where the majority are at school. Yeah. And then I have the opposite days where I have 3 at home and 1 at school. And those are my more kid-friendly days where I'm able to block out smaller portions of time for work, and it's more family time. And I really love that kind of homogenous flow where the kids can see me working, but they also know their time is their time. And so we just kind of work in a rhythm, a flow.
I really love that. Their time is their time. Not like if mama's not working, she's out doing something and we're in front of her, but she's not looking at us and not paying attention to us. So that's something that I really struggled with. It's like, but I'm around my kids, I'm with them, but I'm not.
And it's easy to fall into that trap because you got so much you want to do, but at the same time, I want them to look back, when they're 10 and when they're 15 into these moments and they know that mommy was present. And that's one of the things I keep on my mind.
So how do you achieve that?
How do I achieve being present? Yeah. I close my computer.
Or leave your computer in your office.
I close my computer. I close up Facebook. I really try to zone in into building blocks and watching movies, and I take them places. Because to me, since I work from home, that can equal work. So if I take them places and we go play together and we get away from the office per se, even when I come home, I stay away from the office. We go to the play area. I try to really segment my spaces so that the two don't blend. It doesn't always work. It's not perfect, but I try my best.
I love that segmenting actual spaces in your home. I really, really love that. Okay, that's really good. Thank you so much for sharing, Andrea. That's really inspiring and such a good reminder for me because the amazing moms that we've had on the show, they literally say the same thing. It's like really being present and closing your laptop. Some moms just literally when they walk out of their office, that's it. The work is behind them. But here's my issue. The phone, it's always there.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yes, that's a challenge, but usually if I give the kids the phone, that takes it out of my hands into their hands, and they can watch a little PBS Kids, and I can kind of refocus and then bring them back to Play World with me.
That's so true. I agree. And yeah, or when my phone is on charge, I'm like, okay, my phone is on charge. It's not I can't take it. So I want to take it back into our live audience and acknowledge you and thank you so much for being here. Nina says, networking is so important, but crucial that the people you network with are people that you can work with in the future. I love that, Nina. So maybe people who like share your values, share your beliefs. I really like that. Benny, oh my gosh, Benny's in the house. Welcome, Benny. Natalie Laura says, time blocking is so important. Mom only is so important. Yes, mom only time. Yes, I love that. Natalie, thank you so much for writing down that golden nugget. And she also says, OMG, that's so hard to turn off electronics. It's so hard. I feel like none of the people before us have ever struggled with something like we are struggling with right now, is like always being connected and trying to be at so many different places at once, and like your notifications are coming on. And I've noticed that when I turn off my notifications, my world is at peace. Like I feel like notifications are the worst. So mamas, turn them off and go check Facebook and Instagram on your own time.
Yes.
All right, Andrea, I have so many more questions for you, and we have just a little bit more time, and I really want to get through them. So once you manufactured your stuff, your products, and you obviously probably created a website, and how did you get your first sale?
Oh my, the first sale was like the best ever. I created a website. This is before, now everyone who starts a business now is like perfect opportunity because it's really plug and play, not a lot of coding. But before then, before Facebook ads and before Facebook got really into business, for the small business, I created a WordPress website and took some pictures, had a photo shoot with my little one, was trying to figure out, okay, how do I want her to have her styled and show how the product works, and got the website together and put it out there. And I thought, okay, now I need to drive traffic. So what I did was I went where moms with children of itchy skin would be. I went online, I joined forums, and I was actively driving traffic to the website, answering their questions about itchy skin. Here's what doctors say. What do you think? Type things. And that was great on so many levels because I was getting market research. I was getting a chance to do informal surveys. I was getting a chance to expose my brand and my website and the product. And when that first sale came through, I think it was a PayPal notification. And I was just like, wow, it's really happening. It's really like someone really is in the same boat as me and they need this product. And when I think when I got the first response, after someone purchased it, they emailed me to tell me how much this product was a lifesaver and how much scratch knots were helping their child to reduce their eczema and scratching. And I thought, I have arrived.
That's amazing.
And that was just the first sale.
That's amazing, Andrea. Well, you know what? We never forget our first sale. It's like our first love. We never forget about it. So I love that you shared that with us. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I love that you said you went where the mamas of babies with itchy skin are. And that is that is the key. It's really going where the people are, where your customers are. And nowadays it would probably be like Facebook groups. And
It will be. Yeah.
exactly. And like maybe like moms who are moms with babies with eczema or something like that. That's where they would be. And I love that you shared that with us, because we often underestimate like where are the mamas that we are catering to, but that's really important to also go in and like figure out who those mamas are. And for your business it was so obvious, but for so many it's not as obvious. That's what's so important to like create like that profile of that perfect customer. So Andrea, I have, oh my gosh, like I don't know how I missed these. I have so many other mamas commenting here. Leah asks a question, and Leah, let me get back to your question. I want to ask it at the end. Lucy says, so helpful. I have to segment my office area. The phone is the most challenging thing for me. We can get so much work done. Emails, calls, follow-ups from the phone. I have to be super cautious about this. Mama, I feel you. Lucy, you're amazing. I feel you, but you're doing incredible work. And then Lucy also says, my notifications are always off. That helps. It sure does. I agree. April says, a response. I love this conversation, by the way. You ladies are amazing. So April, in response to Nina, says, yes, I call that net friending, not networking, because net friending is the softer side of networking. Net friending is about opening up relationships rather than closing the sale. April, you're amazing. I really, really love that. And then April says, so many of us don't realize our value until the people let us know how valuable we are to them. I love that. And then April, oh my gosh, you're amazing. My son is autistic and has eczema. I have yet to figure out how to keep him from being so miserable with itchy skin. Oh, sweetheart, I really hope you find, and if he's older, it'll probably be more difficult to put mittens on him. But I really, really appreciate you ladies for chatting in the comments and getting to know each other and like having a conversation of your own. I really appreciate that. So let me get back to Leah's really, really juicy question. She asks, did you struggle with doubts that it would work at all?
Did I struggle with doubts that my product would not work?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I had a few ways that I combated that though. And that is I tested the product on my child, of course. Yeah. And I also got other people to test the product on so that I could get their feedback on how it worked, if they were able to take it off, if the flip mitten portion worked, and just really began to absorb those comments and use that as gold. I think sometimes we're so afraid of the negative feedback that we don't want to hear it. So we just push it out there and we close our eyes and we just hope for the best.
Yes.
But when you get that negative feedback, that's your best information on how to improve your product, how to improve your customer service. And sometimes it still stings because, you put your heart into it. But at the same time, if I jump into their shoes, for my situation, for my product, there's a lot of frustrated parents who are tired, who are stressed, and who are trying to figure out their child's allergies or what's going on that's causing the scratching. They are also trying to debate whether they should follow the doctor's instruction or go a DIY route. And so there's a lot more frustration and anger and confusion when they come to me with their concerns about the product. And so I have to flash back to my moments like that and be able to separate the two to know that, okay, this is not about me or the scratching knot. This is really a lack of sleep for the past week and a half. Or this is really, my child is suffering, I feel hopeless as a parent, and I really wanted your product to be the fix-all. And so when I'm able to separate my feelings from the customer's needs, I'm able to be a better servant to them.
Oh, I love that so much. Leah, I hope that answers your question. And that was so powerful, like really separating and really acknowledging, like, is it because you haven't gotten your sleep, or because it's so important to really push away these thoughts, because they really have no spot in our brain, in our mind, because we I feel like I think I really, really believe that the ideas that we get, the fire burning inside of us is for a purpose, and a huge purpose to make a huge difference in the world. And it all starts with the baby steps. And even if you're scared, you still have to take action in order to make it happen, in order to make your dreams happen. So Andrea, that was so powerful. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Okay, so can we talk about how you went from local manufacturing to overseas manufacturing? Because that is insane. Like,
Yes.
if you let's say, I don't know where your product is being manufactured now, we'll hear in a sec, but if it's like in China, did you like have to learn Chinese to make it happen? Like, how did you, like, I just can't even. And some countries don't even have like internet. Like, you can't even like just email them. You have to like literally fly over there to make it happen. So I want to hear your story.
Yes, this goes back to networking. Someone mentioned net friending. So I've been really blessed to talk to the right people and really, because when I started this, I knew nothing. Like, I was learning as I was going. And we were having a problem meeting our demand. We had grown and our manufacturer locally could not keep up with us. So I wanted to keep all of our manufacturing local. I wanted to as much as possible, but I kept running into barriers, and I had to get the product to our customers. So I created a relationship a while ago with another person within our industry, and she gave me a referral to a manufacturer overseas. And I was like, okay, this is sending my baby off to college, because I can't be hands-on anymore. Sure, I could fly out there, but I can't do it every couple of days. I can't go out and just pop in and check up on them. So it's a whole new world of how to be organized with manufacturing, how to get over the language barrier. Typically, you have a English interpreter or a middleman that you can kind of work through. But for the most part, the person that you're speaking to can speak pretty fluent English, and you can kind of work through any of the language barriers in the meantime. But one of the things that is key is when you're in person, you realize how general and vague you can be. But once you move to overseas, that vagueness turns into a snowball of different features to a product, or different colors, or different interpretations of what you really wanted. So I learned that I have to be diligent and specific on exactly what I want, exactly what I expect to see, and have checkpoints along the way.
Wow, that is a lot of work. Oh my gosh, that is so much work. So is there like a resource that you can point us? Oh, well, actually, you know what? We're going to talk about this after, because
Okay.
I know that you have some good stuff to share. Okay, so what about, let's see. That was really, really helpful, by the way. Like, I feel like, manufacturing locally and manufacturing outside of, overseas is like almost the same thing, except the language barrier. But no, there's so many things that you have to take account for. So that's
Yes.
really interesting. Okay,
Yes.
so now you did all this, all the sourcing, all yourself with your friends okay, hold on. What's that word? Net friending. Net friending. April, you're amazing. Thank you for bringing our attention to this awesome word. So after net friending, you found, you did all this work, but let's talk about going back to your family. I know that we talked about this some in the beginning, but I really want to dig a little bit deeper as far as like, how were you able to really like make the decision to like have 4 babies while making this huge change in your life by bringing this product and not just making it in your home, but really taking it to scale internationally? And how was it, like the husband and wife dynamics in the house? Like, how did you like talk through this? Like, I'm so curious about that.
This is one of those things that you plan for, you learn on the go, and then you realize all your plans are ruined. So so we I knew I wanted at least four kids. I knew I wanted four kids because I didn't want a middle child. So we had two and then three, and I was like, oh, another one because we got a third child here. So along the way, it was I'm a natural multitasker, and within business, there's a margin where you can multitask, and there's a margin where you need to really focus. Yeah. But by being able to map out my priorities of what's most important, is it more important for me to answer this phone call or this email for business, or is it more important for me to attend to a child who thinks the world is ending, but really only has a scrape on the finger? Those are some moments that I really had to choose how I wanted this family life to work or be priority over the business. So I did not grow my company as quickly as I could have because I chose to keep my family as priority. That doesn't mean that I wasn't ambitious. That doesn't mean that we did not meet our goals. I just did not make my goals as ambitious as I would have had I had no kids or one child. Exactly. So that was the beginning. There's so much more involved in how to manage and how to juggle and all the in between, but I don't think we have a whole hour dedicated towards managing both.
No, we don't, but I do want to connect our listeners with you so they can get more information. And I know that you've created a group as a program, I think it was, for mom entrepreneurs who are wanting to bring a physical product out into the world. And I would love if you could share a little bit about that.
Yes. So I jump-started Andrea Thomas Collective, and that's just all the facets of me, whether it is Scratch Me Not and the behind-the-scenes business portion. And I wanted to help moms in particular because they constantly ask me, how do you do it all? And my quick answer is I don't, because I just simply cannot do it all. But what I do, I have a process for. And then another question I get asked is, how do I know if my product's a good idea? How do I know it will sell? And so I created a little mini course on your product idea kit. And that kind of walks you through your idea to solidify and validate your product, to make sure that it's not just good to you or good to your family and friends, but it's actually something that other customers want to purchase.
I love that. Where can we find that?
That's at AndreaThomasCollective.com and /PIK.
All right. So, and you guys see her name right over there under her video, AndreaThomasCollective.com /PIK. Andrea, you have been so amazing, and I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming on and sharing so much wisdom with us. I really appreciate you.
No problem. Thanks for having me. This has been great. It's been like a nice little breather to my day to kind of think back to old memories and bring people up to speed as to where I am now.
Oh, I'm so happy, Andrea. You are such a huge blessing. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
All right, ladies. Oh my gosh, was that amazing or what? I am so inspired by Andrea. Not only is she a pro at what she does, but she's also such a sweetheart and like 4 kids, and they're all little, and she's able to just create this beautiful life for herself by really prioritizing her family while also really making things happen for her business. So that was so inspiring. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy day and making it happen. I also, again, want to thank our amazing sponsors. One of them is Made On, and it's we had actually the maker of this beautiful brand is Renee Harris at madeon.com, and she has been a guest on the show, and she creates this beautiful product, beautiful business that supports her family of 9 children. Absolutely amazing. Her hard lotion is, let me see if I can open this for you. But I'm like almost done with this, Renee, FYI. But like literally, I mean, it comes as a bar, and you just rub it on your hands, and it creates like that lotion effect, and it has been a lifesaver for me when I'm moving. Also, I want to thank Audible, because Audible has been so gracious to sponsor this episode, and they are giving away a free book that you can listen while on the go, while washing dishes or whatever. You literally just download the app, Audible app. You create a new account, but before you do, make sure you go at the link that's up over there, audible.com/Vicky, and that will get you a free book. So again, I thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your interaction, for your comments. I hope you have an amazing day, and I just want to sign off as your host, Vicky, and thank you so much for watching, because this is the show that helps you win in business without losing at home. And thank you again so much. I will see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook Live. Bye-bye.